Welcome again, Steve.
Good to see you, Adam.
So how's it been going?
Oh, I've been really good. Really good. In fact, just got back from the post office a little while ago, mailing out some packages with some Van Halen goodies that people have been buying, and yeah, man, it's been really good. When I first thought about selling the collection, I was really at odds with it. I mean, I've had a lot of that stuff for a long time, and it was hard. It was hard, the idea of parting with that stuff, But for the same reason that sort of way back in the day, I actually kind of sold off my personal guitar pick collection. I kind of looked at it like I had that collection for a long time. I've had this Van Halen memorabilia for a long time. I've enjoyed it. I would pull it out and look at the stuff. And I thought, maybe now it's time to, share that, let other people, feel like they're part of the Van Halen history. And there's a ton of backstage passes, and some of those passes actually, were from shows that some of these people saw, like an 84 show. And a lot of these passes are actually stamped with the cities, so maybe they'll actually find something, from a show they were at. And so, I thought it's time. It's time to move on, let somebody else kind of, dig all this amazing stuff. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of stuff there. Heaps.
Yeah, there is. No, I mean, I could probably put a post easily through the end of the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So what I really find amazing to look at again is sort of all the paperwork, the contracts and the writers and inter-office memos to the various people. I mean, that stuff to me is like amazing. You can really see how the business worked and really what a huge organization it was. We think about Halen now, these four guys go on stage. Well, there's probably, 40 or 50 people behind the scenes, beyond the crew. I mean, secretaries and publicists and, people taking care of getting the passes printed and the lighting rig, companies and the trucking companies. It's pretty amazing. So that paperwork, I got when I was working on Edward's book, what was supposed to be the authorized biography back in '86. I think Edward must have offered. I can't believe I would have asked, or maybe I did ask, but somehow he allowed me to go into their offices, which were down on Sunset Boulevard, and just kind of look through all their filing cabinets. Wow. So I remember going in there several days in a row, and I'd see some stuff, man, and I just grab it. I didn't ask anybody whether I should be taking this stuff or not. And I get home and I kind of look at it and I go, oh my God, this is amazing. This is just amazing stuff. And there's stuff in there with, I guess, they had that lawsuit against Noel Monk, and there's paperwork from that. And there's one that, in fact, I think I might have just put it up. Somehow it was, stuff that was still in Noel's possession. I guess after they got rid of him, he still had all of this stuff. But I mean, it wasn't just paperwork. It was, oh God, I think there were like some copiers and maybe some cameras. I mean, like really expensive stuff, It's like they wanted that accounted for. I don't know if they were trying to get it back from him or he shouldn't have taken it. Look, I don't know, but you just look at this stuff and it's just amazing. And there are some hotel lists when they would check in, and the band would always check in under different names. They would never check in as Edward Van Halen and David Lee Roth. I mean, that would have been insanity. So on this one, and they used to go under, they were like the Ace Plumbing Company.
Oh,
that's
really?
what they call it. But, so besides the four guys, I mean, there must be, I swear, there must be like 30 or 40 people on the road with them. And again, it's not just crew, and there's a lot of crew, of course, but there are secretaries and wardrobe people and, backstage people and food people. It was just an amazing operation, and I think there's some other paperwork where it shows some of the breakdown of costs.
Yep.
And yeah, they were making tons of money, from the shows, obviously. But, you think of what those expenses were for a week to fly 40 people or 50 people around to, 5 cities in a week, and hotels and my God, food. There's a breakdown. You can see there's receipt from some of the crew for per diems. There's a couple in there. There's one for Rudy Laren, who was Edward's tech, and there's one for Pete Angelus, who was one of the lighting crew, who would later go on to manage Dave. So it's amazing. I mean, that stuff to me is just incredible to look at. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. There's some pretty remarkable stuff there for sure.
Yeah, and it looks like you've kept it all in really good condition as well over the years.
The condition is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really pretty good. Everything was sort of in like folders, and I tried not to a lot of it was stapled together, so I tried to keep the staples in there. And so that paperwork's in great condition. All the passes are in really good condition. I mean, some of them are just old, and some of the rarest ones, and I think maybe we'll be seeing some of these in a bit here, Adam.
Yeah.
I mean, these are like the very first passes, and I've never seen these before. You've never, at least I've never seen them on eBay. I mean, these are really rare, right? These are the, Van Halen Montrose Journey passes. They're incredible. Really good shape. And I think most of them are unused, which is pretty amazing. I'm going to tell you a little story about the sign stuff.
Yeah.
So, I have in fact, I'll throw this one to you now. So, I had a signed, drum head.
Yep.
So this is from '95. For some reason, they did it in a silver, Marxalot, which is kind of dumb, but it is real, people. I promise you. It was signed at Jones Beach. Jones Beach is a town in upstate New York, right near the border of Canada. Mm-hmm. So I had gotten it from this collector. I mean, big time Van Halen collector. I'd gotten this from him. Mm-hmm. And so I put it up on a Van Halen site. I think the Van Halen site was called Van Halen. I think it's Van Halen Memorabilia and Merchandise or something like that.
Yeah,
but it's for people to sell, Van Halen stuff. I guess people trade. And so I put it up. And, the comments were, oh, that's amazing, incredible, And this guy goes, yeah, that's amazing, but it's not real. So I flipped out. My first instinct was to go after this dickhead and tell him, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. This is authentic. You're wrong. Yeah. But I didn't go crazy. I didn't call you up to fly over to beat the shit out of him. I controlled myself. I talked to the guy I had gotten from. I said, did you actually get this from the band or did you get it from somebody? And how do you know if it was signed? Did somebody tell you? Because I thought, that's possible. Very unlikely, but because, this guy was totally legit. He's been selling stuff for years. There's no way he's going to consciously, sell me a fake item. So he goes, no, man, I was there. I was invited by Scotty Ross. Scotty was the road manager or the tour manager. I can't remember, but really high up in the organization. Had been with the band for a long time. And this guy had sort of followed them around. And so they invited him down for these 3 shows in that area. And the last one was at Jones Beach. And after the show, they say, hey, man, we got this for you. The 4 guys sign it and hand it to him. So he's there. He's watching them sign it, Yeah. They give it to him as kind of a thank you because he would travel all around and, he was a monster Van Halen. So I go back to this guy and say, look, man, the guy that I got this from was there. It was signed in front of him. Scotty Ross invited him down. This is absolutely 100% authentic. And he writes to me, he goes, will you believe everything that everybody tells you? How can you believe this guy? At that point in time, I was on the phone to you, Adam. I need your help here. At that point in time, I realized there was nothing I could say to him that was going to make him see the truth, or much less admit the truth. And so I wrote back to him. I go, look, man, it's obvious you're more interested in being right than knowing the truth. Thank you. I knew the admin on that site. I knew who that was because the admin was also the admin of the huge Eddie Van Halen site, who have been kind enough to allow me to sell my stuff and put the book up there. And no one's allowed to do that, but they allowed me to do it. So I reached out to him. I said, man, this guy is making these comments. I've come up with evidence. I mean, he's entirely wrong. He won't back down. 10 minutes later, this guy was off the site and he was banned. So the admin, did the right thing, got him off of there. But, yeah, man, people, Van Halen fans can get really rabid, and part of me understood that, he was like trying to protect the Van Halen name. He was putting up photos of stuff that he had signed, and good for him. I'm happy for him. As if to say, hey, I know everything there is to know about signatures, and this is not real. Yeah, at a point in time, you have to know when to retreat and say, hey, man, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
He didn't, and so he paid the price. But yeah, so.
Yeah, because they're all...
especially Van Halen signed stuff. It does tend to be pretty expensive. And I think one of the reasons why is that a lot of stuff out there is fake. I have people coming to me all the time. Oh, Steve, we know that, you knew Edward and you wrote the book, we know that anything you sell is real. And it is.
Yeah.
That's the truth, It took me 50 years to prove who I was, kind of, and that I was friends with Edward. And if you buy something from me that with a Van Halen name on it, I promise you it's real, Now,
just for anyone watching and back on the replay too. So the best way, if people see things they like, they just email you straight away?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And can you put up my email, Adam?
For sure.
This I'm so tempted to keep for myself. So this is a check. It's a canceled check, so the check's no good, anybody. So don't think you're going to go cash it. So let me take this out of you. So this is a check signed by Edward, and this is the real signature. I mean, it's not like a copy of anything. A check from Edward to his father Jan, who also signed it on the back. And I don't know if I've ever seen any item that has been signed by both of them. Yeah. So it's extraordinarily rare. I was looking at the date on it, which was 11/29/83, and I thought it might have been like a payment to Jan, like a musicians union payment for playing on the Diver Down record, Big Bad Bill, like, who knows what it was for. I mean, what would be amazing would be to find out what it was for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it brings up, well, what was it $3,000 for?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It would have been amazing if there'd been a little note on here, to my dad for playing on the Diver Down record or something. That would have been extraordinary. These are pretty cool. So these are luggage tags.
Uh-huh.
I thought those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is the World Tour. I think this is 79. 79.
Oh, yeah. So is that for Van Halen too?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, let me go to my view thing.
It's actually in pretty good condition. It's pretty nice. There's no text in it whatsoever.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I would think, the writer in me, it's like, hey, I'd like to know about the tour, or, Niels Lozauer's photos are in
Yep.
here. That's Lozauer's famous one, right? From the,
From the studio.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That set of amazing photos.
Mm.
So these are cool. These are some of the original flyers from back in the day. And again, these things get bootlegged all the time.
Yeah, $3.25.
And obviously $3.25. And if you have this flyer, it's $2.75.
Oh, discount.
If you now own this flyer, you could probably go get entry, 75 times. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Smile was, I think Smile was Rusty Anderson's band. Rusty is later, well, actually, probably for the last 10 years at least, has been Paul McCartney's guitar player.
Okay.
But Rusty was another one of those guys, around then, an amazing guitar player. And that's pretty amazing.
Mm.
So here, October 15th. So I'm guessing this is a later one. So here they were charging $3.75 to get in, and here they were charging $3.25. So they upped it to 50. They upped it 50 cents. Ready and Smokehouse was also somebody's band. Another one of these really good guitar players. But Ready Kilowatt was Terry Kilgore's band. Terry was the other guitar player in Pasadena. Was an amazing guitar player, and eventually ended up, playing in Dave's band, going on the road with him. This is pretty cool. This is a template for the backstage passes for 2015. Do I have it right side up yet?
Yep.
So, before they'd go and, start printing, they'd, obviously they had to get the samples, they had to get the artwork together. For the working crew, for guests for the VIPs, for media, press and stuff. Pretty amazing. It's funny because I actually have a lot of these passes as well in the collection.
Oh, wow.
So for some reason, I don't know if this actually came with it, but this is sort of on the back of that was in sort of this steel thing that I got. Just this photo of those guys. I don't know if it actually was on the back of it originally or somebody just put it on there. Itineraries, various years. Itineraries are pretty amazing if anybody's never seen one. So it tells the band where the gig is, when the gig is, restaurants that are close by, gyms, what time to be there. Here's a show schedule. This is part one. 84 tour, Tuesday, March 6th, travel, Wednesday, Pittsburgh, Thursday, Cincinnati, Friday, Cincinnati, Saturday off, Sunday. I mean, the schedule was pretty unbelievable. I mean, 1 or 2 days off a week, maybe, and then it would show you, at the hotels they're staying at. I'm sorry, you can't see that.
That's right.
Hotels they're staying at, the venue, who the promoter is, the time zone. After the show, what the band and crew drive to Buffalo, New York, approximately 372 miles. That's unbelievable. I can't believe that they put the band in cars and drove 372 miles after a gig. I mean, even if you're driving fast, right? That's a 3 or 4 hour drive. Maybe they're trying to save money in 1984. Doesn't seem logical, but
that'd be
crazy.
That'd be an amazing read, though, to read all through those books.
Oh, no, it is. And there's some of them, I can't find them now, that actually have notes from Zeke Clark, who's the guitar tech, during this period that I have the itineraries for. And he'll have some handwritten notes in there. A lot of phone numbers. He had to contact people or just notes to himself. Those are pretty amazing to see. Yeah. This is pretty cool. A Hard Rock hat signed by all the guys. Hard Rock Maui. I'm guessing they played in Maui or Hawaii at some point.
Yeah.
There's Alex's signature on the back. I know it's a little hard to see.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's very cool. This is pretty cool. This is from the Donington Monsters of Rock.
Upside down.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it'll take a real Van Halen aficionado to tell you, well, it's Sammy. So that gives you somebody. I mean, I have no idea. There's no date. There's no name. Van Halen 3. This is pretty cool. This is Eddie Van Halen. This isn't a backstage pass, just like a little card from a charity benefit through the Hard Rock, 1981.
Is that Fair Warning?
What's that?
Is it Fair Warning?
Fair Warning? Yeah, sorry, Fair Warning. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to some people, and they said that real collectors. Well, I'm assuming they would love to have the really early stuff, but the Fair Warning tour, they tend to really gravitate towards passes and everything from that era. And in fact, when we start showing some of the stuff on my post, Adam, that very first pass you showed was a Fair Warning. I put that up, and I'm telling you, man, it sold in like 5 minutes. And after it was sold, honestly, 10 people asked about that pass. So yeah, the Fair Warning tour for some reason was, I don't know.
Yeah.
People love stuff from that era. So this is actually one of the passes that I showed you from that. Let me pull that template up. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Right.
That's the working one.
I mean, it's interesting to see. Here's the sample, and kind of here's what comes out. The colors change a little bit, and pretty amazing. There's also some like accounting for the passes that they were have to put together. And man, those passes cost a lot of money. I mean, it's translated into dollars today. It comes out to a lot of money because I mean, I don't know, but I think there's in some of this paperwork, it also shows the amount of passes. I think like I don't know, 200 media, 200. How many passes are printed probably for the entire tour. So they're talking about thousands of passes. I mean, even at a couple dollars a pass, you're talking about a small fortune. I have a feeling they cost more than that back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Especially now.
Some kind of truth. Another flyer. So you think about it. I mean, and this one's $3. This one's $3 to get in with a flyer. You get up 50 cents off. Unbelievable. Headwinds, who I've never heard of, and Eulogy, who used to play with them a lot. And Steve Tortomasi was sort of the local promoter for those shows. I interviewed Steve actually for the book back in the day.
Yep.
Pretty amazing. So, if you were walking up and down Sunset Boulevard in 1977, these would have been plastered on every single light post and tree,
Yeah. So I'll show you some of the ones on your Facebook site. I'll just share this.
Yeah, cool.
This is Van Halen 3.
Yeah. Right. This is fantastic. This is sort of mounted on a like a foam board.
Yep.
And if you put it in glass, it'd be really fantastic. But what's great about it is that the booklet is signed and the CD is signed. So what confuses the hell out of me is, so it's Gary, Alex, Mike, and Edward. So who the freak is Dave?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
And go over to this other one here. Scoot over again.
Yeah.
I think it was made out to, I can't tell what that says.
This one.
So here's Ed, here's Mike, here's Al, and here's Gary. It might have been made out to someone. I can't read what that says, Sean or something.
Yeah.
But who is Dave? Maybe one of the guys wrote it on there.
Yeah, as a joke.
Exactly, to goof around. Maybe, I don't know. But it looks like,
Yeah.
I thought those were like music notes. It looks like they're exclamation points.
Yeah.
So, which means like, oh, Dave, like it is a goof. But again, what makes this so amazing is that there are 2 sets of autographs. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's right.
In different colored inks, it looks like.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty cool. I still have that piece.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, it's one of these pieces that I keep thinking about, keeping myself. But
yeah.
oh, this is unbelievable. So this is an Edward Van Halen. You can see his name down there. Good through 1285. Interesting. That was cut up into 4 pieces. This is what I got out of the files in the office. I saw that in there.
Oh, there's the back of it.
And there's the back of it. Yeah. It's too bad he never signed it. Obviously these date picks. I'm sure there's one for every day. I only had those. I still have a couple of those left. Mm. Those are really pretty picks. All those picks with the sayings on the back and stuff.
Yeah.
This is one of those passes I was telling you about. I mean,
yeah.
April 2nd, 1978.
Right.
That's just so unbelievable. And this is another rare one. They don't even put Van Halen's name on this. How incredible is that?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It is. So the other one was...
I'm sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I just looked at the dates. So April 2nd, and then this one is, April 16th.
April 16th? I mean, unless there was a show that they did that Van Halen wasn't on. If anybody out there knows that answer, I mean, you could look up that 78 tour.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Journey and Ronnie Machos went out and did a show without Van Halen.
So 79 tour?
Yeah. There's about 4 or 5 different colors. I think I have all of them. That's an amazing pass.
Yeah. Oops.
That's a great pass with the talus on it. I mean,
was that
Billy Sheehan?
Definitely seen it. 78.
Yeah, that Texas Jam show. That's the tour program. Yeah, I guess there were several shows. So there it is, the top one there.
Yep.
Smith and Nugent and some good bands.
Hot.
Frank Marino. Those are the 3 on the backs of those 3 yellow ones are the days. I forget, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday. Yep. I just sold the Sammy Hagar pick on the left there.
Yep.
And the England and the Michael Anthony pick I still have. I think that's about it.
Okay.
So that middle pick, England, I mean, there was a whole series of those, Germany and, France. And so there's the 3 top, the yellow days. And then that's the Michael Anthony pick. This one here is, it's called the molded pick. It's probably hard to read. It's Have a Nice Day and Bring on the Donkey.
Okay.
There's a whole series of Bring on the Donkey picks, But those are the only picks I have left.
Oh, wow.
I think there were about 50 or 60 picks. Yeah.
Oh, you 812 tour book?
Yep. And you can see Zeke's name up there.
Yeah.
Zeke's tour book. So you can see over here, there's in those plastic ring binder things. Can you see like a pen in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that pen has probably been in there since 1988.
Yeah.
So the pen itself is probably worth $600 because it's so old.
Exactly.
Just kidding. That must be Zeke's pen. I never tried it. I don't know if it works, but it was in there when I got it. That's a Christmas card.
Oh, okay.
That's the first Christmas card they sent out. That I still have. That's pretty cool.
Some passes.
One of the limbs.
Yep.
That's the back of that one.
Yep. Dive it
That's
down.
a little different one. South America tour. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, look at the camera down there. He has one of those big, I don't know what TV cameras look like now, but I'm sure they're,
Not like that.
infinitely smaller and, more hi-fi than that was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Van Halen 3.
Van Halen 3.
95. What's that say? Press benches.
I don't know. I never understood. I thought it was, at first I thought Press Benches was the name of a band. The Press Benches opening. But it's the press benches where the press would sit.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So this is the infamous, right? So Bon Jovi gets top billing here.
Yeah.
Van Halen opened for them. And if you've read my book, Tone Chaser, you know that that's the tour that brought down the Kingdom. And there's another one of those 79 World Tour passes, different color.
Yep.
These are pretty rare passes. I have these. And pretty amazing.
Monsters of Rock.
That's cool. So this is from April 27th, 1984. So I'm guessing that they're on the road, and even Dave has to keep track of his receipts. And inside, and I may show it when we go to the next picture. Don't change yet. You'll see these receipts. I'm sure that Dave always had somebody with him who was probably filling out these receipts for him. Obviously, this is not filled out by Dave. This is filled out by a secretary or, who would ever do that. But you can see what it is. So Chinese restaurant, 1736, taxi for what? Fair tip. So he tipped $3.97. Oh, I'm sorry, fare and tip. $3.97. So obviously, wherever they were going was, 3 minutes away from a hotel. The Dairy Queen for an ice cream. You can buy an ice cream for $1.25 back in '84. I'm not sure what cat and ung is, but more Chinese food. Dave like Chinese food, right? More taxis, all pretty short trips. Camera. Sandy's. Did somebody buy some film? I don't even think back then you could have bought a camera for $113. This is pretty cool. Foot Locker, Gore-Tex. So maybe it was like one of those Gore-Tex vests or something, or they make like Gore-Tex shoes. I mean, even for the '84, 176 seems like a lot of money for a pair of shoes. Twin store, a toolkit, because Dave was probably riding around on his bike or something, so maybe they're off the road here. But in any event, for that period, those receipts came to $589,
Okay, next one.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see some of the receipts that I pulled. Yeah, so there you go. Isn't that amazing? And these are all in there, and these all come with that file. So there is some film. Anybody who knows about cameras, maybe that is a camera, an Olympus XA1.
Yeah, don't know.
So he's with Eddie Anderson. I'll bet you that Eddie Anderson, who is Dave's security guy, and a good buddy, was with Dave for most of these trips. I doubt if Dave ever went anywhere by himself. I mean, not that he couldn't, but I'm sure Eddie was always there.
What's that? Pete.
Remember I was telling you there was like some per diem receipts, and there's about 20 or 30 that are stapled together from the crew. So this is Pete Angelis. So for 5/18/84, they're on the road. Pete's per diem was $210. Looks like he got a raise too, right?
Yeah.
$175 across. I'm assuming what comes out of that is his food, his telephone calls. I'm sure that the hotel is paid for. Maybe his transportation, if he's taking taxis, if he's going out for lunch, that's his per diem. Yeah. So there's Rudy. So Rudy's only making $175 a day.
Yeah.
It says tickets for LA. So that's interesting. But those are real signatures too. Those aren't Xeroxes or carbons. Those are their real signatures. So it's pretty amazing. It's just a $5. When you turn the back, you'll see a Sammy Hagar pick from the Hard Rock that has a casino in it.
This is
That's a songbook.
Folio,
yeah. Next page, you'll see what's inside. It's the sheet. Yeah. This I thought was pretty cool. It's like you can't see the very top. It has like little ringlets that you can hang. So it's like a pendant, I guess, or a banner. I suppose it could be like a scarf thing. I mean, the material's kind of
silky.
It feels plasticky. It's not plastic. I mean, it's actually pretty nice. But at the very bottom here, it says "Made in England." So I thought that was cool. Something. Some promo item. Can you? Yeah, there you go. Right at the very bottom there.
Yeah.
Made in England. But the logo's old, so it could be one of the early tours when they were over there.
All right. So next one up here, which is a few more documents.
This is 81. So this is just kind of a general ledger of expenses, drum risers, debit 90. What about the flooring for the stage? They put on their own flooring. Curtains. What the, Stoco. Those are the sound guys. Stoco, very famous. Generator. I mean, my God, look at those costs. It's just astronomical.
It is.
I guess you had to keep track of every single item, or it just all of a sudden it becomes a black hole. And where did that money go to? And
now this is the next page.
And I think this document, if you can tell, I'm folding it back. I think there's probably, I can't remember. I think I mentioned how many pages there are in the description on this post, at the very top. But I think there's probably, 10 pages. So scaffolding, truck ramps, and straps. I mean, you don't think about that stuff, when they're transporting this stuff. I'm guessing straps to strap that stuff in place. I mean, you can imagine, cabinets rolling around or crew lodging. I love this one. So Gaffer's Tape, they spend $2,700 or $3,000, I can't figure. For guitar strings, they only spend $508, the one right below it, Adam. So $508 for strings for an entire tour. I don't know if it's an entire tour. So this is a separate, it's in reference to a letter from Danny Goldberg. Danny Goldberg, I met Danny several times. Danny is a veteran of the music industry. He was the head of publicity at Swan Song, Zeppelin's label, and he helped me actually get my interview with Jimmy Page in 1977. I wrote the story for Guitar Player. So Danny is coming to them with this proposal of a film/documentary called Rock Prophecy. And so Saul, the lawyer, is sending this to Jane Garrity. I don't know this person, but she works at Premiere, who are the company that books
Premier Talent.
Van Halen, right? And so you can see who's gotten the copies here, the entire band, and Richard Lehrer, who's another Esquire. He's another lawyer somewhere. But, so Danny had this idea to put together this film called Rock Prophecy, which I don't think was ever made.
Yeah.
If anybody out there knows about it, let me know. But I don't think it ever got made. So here's the actual letter from Danny. Gold Mountain is where he was working at the time. It was a management company, and Danny was managing a bunch of amazing bands. So it goes, hey, I've talked to ABC about a thing called Rock Prophecy, and the same company who did Silkwood with Meryl Streep, right? The Flamingo Kid with Matt Dillon. I mean, these are major movies, right? Yeah. And his idea for it, it is my assumption that they would want the same directing team as the recent Ben Hill. There would be a $500,000 fee for performing. So it looks like they were being offered $500,000 in 1985. So that, again, I don't know the exact translation of dollars today, but I'm sure that's at least $5 million.
Yeah.
right? I mean, $500,000 at any point in time is a lot of money. And then it shows artists already committed, Dylan, Tina Turner, Pat Benatar, and Peter Wolf, So it's not like this is just some little fly-by-night. I love this last page. Although some of the artists are doing old songs because of the amount of money involved, because we're going to pay you $500,000, we would like a new song from Van Halen. However, if the band has a compelling vision for turning an existing song into a, quote, video vision of the future, I'll go back to ABC with it. So Danny is saying, yeah, man, what I really want is an original song.
Yeah,
I know I'm probably not going to get that. So if Van Halen wants to take one of their songs and reimagine it, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
And this is it's also a separate thing. So Saul Rosenthal is the lawyer, and he's been being sent a little by Harvey. Harvey Shaft was the road manager, the tour manager. I mean, he was a real heavy in the organization.
Yeah.
Enclosed are selected documents from our file on the San Diego lawsuit involving Noel Monk. This isn't the lawsuit against Noel. Apparently, and there's some other contracts that explain this. Noel, it was at his show, and Noel saw some of the security at the arena, not Van Halen security, bothering some girl, I think. And he stepped in, and they sued Noel. I think that's what this whole thing is about.
Oh, okay.
And there's Richard Lair, who's one of the Van Halen attorneys. I just find this stuff so unbelievably intriguing. So this is it. There was an altercation. During the concert, plaintiff Monk observed a young female who had sustained a face injury walking down the aisle toward the bandstand. Monk, approached the young lady to see if he could be of assistance. An altercation ensued with security guards, ushers, etc. And I guess they sued Noel. This is an US Festival rider draft. This is like laying out all the points of the US Festival rider. I mean, it's just so in depth. I mean, you just can't imagine. Festival agrees to provide and pay for a stage with a playing area 60 feet wide from left to right, 48 feet deep from front to back, and at a height no less than 6 feet. The Van Halen's demands, and rightly so. Hell, demand the world. They're going to give it to you. But it's incredible. And again, this is a really long document. And I talked to Edward a lot about the S Festival in the book, and he was really not happy because they were supposed to have last say about mixes and this and that, and things weren't mixed properly. He went insane over it. And even though they did earn, that 1.5 million, in some respects, he said that look, he said, yeah, the money was great, but that in ways that it really caused more problems than it was worth, because after the festival was over, there was months and months of, working on the audio and the video, and fans were saying, oh, you made so much money, and, this and that, So it's a pretty amazing document.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. That's a pretty rare itinerary. That was Zeke's, going back to 1980.
Let's see.
That's another one right here, right now, 93. And this is really thick. It was a really thick itinerary. This is Noel Monk's jacket. The Metro Center, so this is a 1984 tour. I don't know where the Metro Center is. I'm sure somebody knows where it is. But this is his tour jacket that he was wearing, even though it doesn't have the name of the tour on it. But go to the next one, and that's the back. So it says the Magnificent Seven. So I'm not sure what that is or who that is, or what that's referring to. If anybody knows, let me know. But this was his jacket. It's actually a very nice jacket. This is Brian made an original, like a little bio. Actually, on the back, it talked about Starfleet project right there. 1083. I think people get a sense of what there is. And again, there's a lot more to come. And, if there's specific stuff you'd like to see, from some certain era, let me know. I'll try to get that up. Yeah, again, just, you can contact me on the on the Facebook page, but it's just easier for me to see, and it's more immediate if you contact me on my email. Some of the more expensive items, I'm open to reasonable, offers and stuff. And, if there's something you really want, make me an offer. I might be likely to take it. So,
Yep.
yeah. So I hope you guys all dug that, looking at that stuff and,
Yeah.
traveling through time with Adam and I. So
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.